Hello. Hello. I'm stretching. Hello. Happy Friday. Welcome back and super excited for this training because there's a lot out there that really will make you think that you are broken, that your metabolism is broken. And if you are somebody who has been dieting your whole life, you still don't have anywhere near the body that you want, you feel like your metabolism is just slow and weight sticks to you like glue, and you've been stuck with maybe 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds to lose, and it's actually not budging no matter what you do, uh, this is for you. Your metabolism is not broken, and I'm going to show you and tell you why and help you out of it and give you the tactical steps you need to take to start reversing this process, working with your metabolism and not against it. And I know you hear those buzzwords all the time: work with your metabolism, not against it. And I get it. I get why people do that, and I get why the marketing is the way that it is. But it really is simpler than you probably want it to be. You probably want like some crazy supplements, or and maybe you don't. Maybe you don't want the supplements. Maybe you don't want the crazy protocols to fix your metabolism. But that's what some people will give you, and some people will charge thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for another gimmick, when in reality, you need to just learn the basics of physiology of metabolism and be consistent enough to stick with it. That's the hard part. So basically, this is something that hits true to me because this was me. I was a calorie burning machine. I've told this before in prior trainings. I was not getting the body that I wanted, first and foremost. Just make that very, very clear. I was super skinny fat. I was a stick, and I was super unhappy with the way that I looked because I was comparing myself to magazines, and Tumblr and Instagram at the time was basically brand new. And I wanted those lean muscle curves that I honestly would say I'm proud to have today. And I felt like anytime I ate something sweet or even just like looked at a cookie, that I would gain weight or get bloated or get stressed. And there's like real science to support why I felt that way and why you might feel that way too. So I was eating really, really low calories, doing a bunch of cardio, and I felt like I was just banging my head against the wall. Like nothing was actually changing or working, but I was putting in so much effort. And so there's a couple of reasons as to why that is, because of how your metabolism works, but also just how our body responds to that kind of stress. So basically, what happens when you are eating really, really low calories? And when I say low, it's like, 1200, 1500, 1600, even for a lot of women, it's not enough. Our body at like baseline, like if we are in a coma, most women burn 1200 calories just in a coma. So imagine all of the stress that we undertake throughout the day, all the things that we do, all the workouts we do, how much we take care of others mentally and physically. All of that takes calories and energy. And we're eating barely enough to survive in a coma. So and this is where this term starvation mode comes from, which is, it's just a label. There's some truth to it. Your body doesn't shut down, but your body does adapt to low calories. If it's constantly getting low calories and you're under eating, trying to make the needle move, your body will, and your metabolism will down regulate certain processes like your menstrual cycle, like your libido, like your hunger and fullness signals, to kind of like kill your appetite, get rid of your period, like just things that take energy to facilitate within your body. Your body will kind of turn them down, because that way you're not wasting precious energy on it, and it's adapting to the amount of food that it's getting. So if you've ever lost your period from exercising a lot or eating very little, or you've ever like just not felt hungry, that's why. It's because all those processes are kind of like volume dial turned down, and your metabolism is adapting. And so that's why when we eat out over the weekend and we overeat or we overindulge, it feels like the weight sticks, is because like our metabolism has kind of come down here, and then we eat a bunch and our metabolism doesn't catch up quickly like that. It doesn't bounce around, like it gradually changes based on trends over time. So if you throw a bunch of food at it, your body doesn't know what to do, and it does get stored. The excess gets stored as fat because it's still running down here at this level. So the rest is excess. So that's why it's like we feel like we put on the weight over the weekend and then we basically work all week to lose it and then we repeat the cycle. So that's what I did, at least. And I know a lot of you relate to that. And so it's not working like it has in the past. And also, the reason why I look at a carb and I gain weight actually feels like a true problem is because there's actual research to show that the way that we perceive food and calories can affect how we digest it. And I've experienced this to my own personal experience drastically, especially since my relationship with food has changed. But it's been shown in the research with something we call like the milkshake study, if you've ever heard of it. But essentially, it is a study where they had two groups of people and they gave the two groups of people an identical milkshake. And I don't actually know what was actually in it, but basically they told one group of people that this is a healthy protein shake and it's, 240 calories, all protein, super good for you. And then the group of people that they gave to the other group, they said, this is like an ice cream milkshake, like tons of fat, tons of carbs, probably 800 calories, delicious. You're going to love it. And they monitored the physiological responses to these people's digestion and absorption of these calories post eating it. And what happened with the group that was really told that it was healthy, they were really energized after. They felt like they digested it well, no digestive issues. They went and were active for the rest of the day. They felt good. And then the group that was told that the shake was indulgent and heavy, they reported feeling heavy and sluggish and weighed down and that it wasn't digesting well. And it was literally just what they were told, the psychology of what they were having. And so when you have a lot of guilt towards eating something that is quote unquote bad, why is that? It's because our physiology actually responds with a stress response. Oh my God, I'm eating the cookie. I am bad. Emergency lights on. And that's what our thoughts and our emotions are doing. And it's actually translating to how we digest the food. And when we're stressed and we digest food, it doesn't go to the right places because our stress response is on. And if we are relaxed, that's why the gut health gurus nowadays are like, slow down, deep breaths before you eat, create a safe environment for you to digest your food. There is truth to that because if your body's super freaking stressed and you scarf down your food in 5 seconds, your body's in this stress state when it's digesting and it's not going to do the best things that it can with that food. So that's why that stuff is actually kind of important. There is some truth to all the shit that you hear online. Everyone just kind of blows it out of proportion, which is my job, is to myth bust and just bring that stuff back down to earth. But that is why that is. And so you are eating low calories, you are down regulating your metabolism, and you are stressing yourself out every time that you eat something bad, which is causing you to actually make worse use of that food in the first place, versus if you were to just be calm and not worry about it, which is hard to do, easier said than done. But since I have changed my relationship with food, when I overeat, when I overindulge and I say, this is just a choice I'm making, I feel good about it, I wake up the next day with a great appetite, no bloating, nothing. When I go to bed guilty that I've overeaten, I always feel awful the next morning. As my own personal experience, there is not research to support that specifically, but that is how I feel. And it really does reflect on how much our mental does influence the digestion of our food, the absorption of our food, and also our behavior the next day, which really is what catapults this into action. And so how to fix your metabolism is number one. This is why addressing your relationship with food is so important, because it governs your behavior, but it also governs your physiology and how you ultimately digest these foods. So you need to make sure that you are really addressing the morality that you tie to food, the perfectionism that you place upon yourself, the expectations that you hold yourself to. How perfect are you trying to be? And really start with those foundations in your relationship with food. But then from there, really building your metabolism up by not under eating the appropriate amount of food. And I'll be honest with you that calorically for most women, that's typically between 1,700 and 2,200 calories a day, not 1,200. And calorie tracking is this taboo thing that people don't really like to do because it's tedious and restrictive. But if the only thing you've ever done is tracked calories at 1200 or 1400, then of course you're going to hate it because you can't fit in anything worth a lick in that amount. But if you are trying to fit it in 2000 calories, you can fit a lot of food in that. And a lot of times it's a lot more freeing to do so. And you're able to stick with it, be consistent, not be frustrated, not be overly perfectionistic. But with that being said, right, your maintenance calories are likely higher. You probably need to eat more food day to day to actually lose fat in the long term, to rebuild your metabolism and get all the systems running the way that they should. And then from there, be in a modest calorie deficit so that you're not just on this yo-yo cycle with the food that you're eating in your metabolism every single week, and you're able to see slow and steady progress over time. And that is not sexy. And, we build our metabolism with the modest calorie deficit, with strength training instead of cardio. And really, the body that we want is on the other side of the things that we haven't tried, like not dieting, like living the lifestyle, like going slow so we can go fast in the long run. And none of that is sexy, but you're not broken. You've just been perpetuating really crappy patterns for a while, if any of this resonated with you. And the weight sticks on you for reasons that have just been perpetuated for a long time. And it isn't something that you can't undo, even if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s. It's just something that takes time, more time than we would like, more time than we definitely want, but worthwhile time. Because if you can get yourself out of this on and off, up and down roller coaster cycle, wouldn't that be worth it? Like, wouldn't that feel good to just be out of the emotional roller coaster that takes us through, and just looking at carbs and being like, I can eat those, I like those, versus like, can't have them, get those away from me. So just keep that in mind, that you're not broken, your metabolism isn't broken. And if you feel like you've been dieting your whole life and you still don't have the body that you want, you might need to take an approach that is slower rather than faster, and something that's more habit-based and builds your metabolism rather than another diet, another program, more restriction. And really, at the root of it, addressing your relationship with food as a whole so you can actually sustain the results that you achieve. So that is all. Again, your metabolism is not broken. I hope that this really hit and resonates for you. I hope that you actually take something away from this that can help change the trajectory of your progress, and that you actually feel like you get somewhere with this information versus all the stuff online that kind of just leaves your head spinning. So if you have any questions, please let me know. If you have feedback, please comment, because I love to hear from you guys, and it really does inform me on what to speak more on in the future. And any other tactical tips you need, any requests for topics, I'd be happy to accommodate, because I'm always looking for more topics to teach on. So looking forward to hearing back from y'all. And thanks again for your attention. And I'll hope to see you back here next week.